Hey guys, so today we are going to be talking about something a little bit different today. We are going to be talking about a celebrity couple. Now, I don't usually get on here and do this where I talk about celebrity couples. I think I may have done it one time, but I think I told you guys in the past I wanted to start doing some commentary. And so, with that being said, I thought it would be a good idea to maybe dabble in that around relationships for people that are on their marriage journeys. This is a great opportunity for you to be able to learn the do's and don'ts when it comes to relationships and marriages. So, with that being said, we're going to be talking about Nelly and Ashanti today. Okay. This has been basically like almost a viral topic on social media. Okay, and so for the kingdom marriage community and the God ordained marriage community, my question to you guys is Nelly and Ashanti's marriage, are they an example of kingdom marriage? Are they an example of a kingdom marriage or a God ordained marriage? So that is what we are going to be talking about today. I had this discussion some time ago with some women, and since the two of them decided to spin the block and get back together, the ladies that I was speaking with about this, they thought that, this was an example of a God ordained marriage. Now, true enough, Nelly and Ashanti, from what I see, I never hear them talking about God or anything like that. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that this is not a God ordained marriage. Okay, sometimes people have to go through things and experience things in order to find God. And as we know, that can be separately or that can be together. So, once again, my question to you is this an example of a God ordained marriage? Do you think that God put these two people together? Were they truly meant to be together? And so I guess only time will tell. I can't say if God has put them together or not. I know the internet has had a whole lot to say about this reality show that they have put out. Now, I will say I am not watching the reality show. I have just been seeing clips that's been popping up on my timeline. And so I'm just kind of curious what you guys think about this. So, I'm going to give my opinion on a few things, and I'm going to give it in a different way from what I have seen out here. So, let's get started with that. So like I said, people have had a whole lot to say about Nelly and Ashanti when it comes to this reality show. And so my first point is I when they first said that they were going to be doing a reality show, my first thought was I didn't think that this was a good idea. I don't think that they should have ever been doing a reality show. And I'm going to tell you why. There is a very high rate when it comes to celebrity couples doing these reality shows. There's a very high divorce rate, very high. I want to say it's almost like 97, 98, even maybe 99%. The rate is very high when people start doing these reality shows and putting their business, putting their relationship and marriages out there for the world to see. I don't think that this was a good idea at all. Number one is way too soon for this. Way too soon. They are still trying to relearn each other. If I'm not mistaken, they have probably been separated for like 20 years and then they came back together. So when you think about it, like I said, everybody has been saying that they're spinning a block. This is almost like the God ordained or the kingdom marriage journey. But are they really God ordained? Are they really an example of a kingdom marriage? Only time will tell. I don't know. And so, like I said, I thought it was a very bad idea for them to be putting their marriage out here for people to have an opinion about. I just didn't think it was a good idea. As soon as I heard about it, I was very excited when I heard that they had came back together. But that was before they actually announced the reality show. And like I said, I don't think it's a good idea. And my second point to that is, as we know, Hollywood is ran by Satan. It is ran by Satan. So when we're talking about these reality shows, when we're looking at everything that's going on these different reality shows, the people that are putting these clips together, their job is to put the worst out there because that's what's going to get the ratings. And that's exactly what has happened. That's exactly, now we don't know what Nelly and Ashanti have discussed behind closed doors. We only know what they have put out there. But once again, whatever they have put out there, the people that work behind the scenes, their job is to put the worst out there and make it look 10 times worse than what it actually is. Now, people have had a lot to say about Nelly, people have had a lot to say about Ashanti. I'm not going to go there. I'm simply going at this thing from a spiritual aspect. And like I said, Hollywood is ran by Satan. So I can't think of one couple that have made it on reality TV. The only couple, and I don't watch Love and Hip Hop. There's a lot of reality shows I don't watch anymore. Back in the day, I used to watch all the Love and Hip Hops and all that. I don't watch any of that anymore because it is very demonic. And it got to the point where I was having bad dreams, sexual dreams, because sexual demons are attached to a lot of these reality shows. But back to Nelly and Ashanti, aside from them, even though their marriage is new, I can't think of a single couple that has made it except for one couple. And I I don't really want to say what I think is not really good, but it's Kurt and Rashida from Love and Hip Hop, and they're the only couple that's made it. And I'm not in agreement with the way that they've done things based on what I've heard. Okay. And so, like I said, Hollywood is ran by Satan. Hollywood is ran by Satan. And it's just, I don't know. I'm praying that their marriage makes it. It sounds like they have a lot of serious issues that they need to iron out. But again, the job of the show is to make these issues look 10 times worse so that the world will have an opinion. They will tune in. They will say this, they will say that. And then, now you have all these people coming down on Nelly. You have all these people feeling some type of way about Ashanti. We don't really know what's going on in their marriage. But I think, once again, it was an absolute horrible idea for them to do this reality show. Now, I have heard that Ashanti, she didn't want to do the reality show. I wish she would have went with her first mind, because reality shows, they're not what they used to be. They're not what they used to be. And like I said, um, practically everyone who has done these reality shows, they've sold their soul. They have, their marriages and relationships have fallen apart. So many different things have come out of this for the worse. And that's because Satan is behind all of this. Satan is behind all of this. Okay. Okay. So I feel like the world don't really feel this way, but coming from a spiritual aspect, coming from the side of a believer, um if God is not involved, if God is not involved in your marriage, if God is not in the center, if he's not in the middle, if God is not all up in your marriage, then you leave the door open for Satan. And I'm not saying that God is not in their marriage, but I'm just telling you guys, this gives you something to think about, even for those of you guys that are believing God for marriage. When your spouse comes into the picture, please make sure that God is in the center of your marriage, because if not, that leaves the door open for Satan. It leaves the door open for Satan. And so this takes me to the parable in Matthew 7, is Matthew 7:24 through 27. And I'm going to read that for you guys. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat on that house. But it did not fall. It had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine does not do them will be a foolish man who built his house on the sand. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell. And great was the fall of it. So again, God has to be in the center. You cannot build your marriage on the ways of the world. Again, God has to be that foundation. A couple that prays together stays together. I'm not saying that they don't pray, but above all, God has to be in the center in order for a marriage to work. And so I am praying that things work out with this couple. People have already started saying they don't feel like they're going to make it past 2-3 years tops. Technically, those are like word curses. And this is why I don't think they should have ever been in the public eye when it comes to letting people see what's going on in their marriage. Number one is just way too soon for that. But even if they had been married 5-10 years and then they did the reality shows, they never work out for married couples. They never work out. So all we can do is pray, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Again, I would like to know if you guys think that this is a marriage of a God-ordained couple. Things are looking rocky right now based on what's put out there, but that's not to say that God is not behind this. This is not to say that, God is not going to do a work in their marriage. I don't know. All I'm saying is God has to be included in the marriage. And I don't think it was a good idea for them to do this reality show and have the whole world in their business while they're trying to relearn each other after 20 something years. They were very young when they got together, and a lot has changed since then. A lot has changed. So that is it. That is all, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments about the situation. Have you been following the story? Just let me know what you think. This is your girl, Jennifer Lamb, the Crown Jewel, and I will talk with you guys next time.